Hello, Mr. Ramsey. Okay, so I read your note. Your late father bought this watch brand new in Guam during his service during the Vietnam War. And you found it in his stuff, and you were like, hey, that's neat, an old watch. And then you looked it up online, and you were like, hey, now, this thing's worth money. Isn't that strange? It's wild, isn't it? What a beautiful watch. What a beautiful watch model. Man, SEIKO really hit it out of the park with these. Now, we know that the reason that this watch looks pretty good on the outside for having lived through military service is that it kind of didn't. We had, I haven't looked inside yet. This is the first time. Case back is loose because you, I think, had been looking at it. So here we go. No. Okay, let's see what we have got. Move my light. Yeah, well, we got some rust. Your balance is still moving, though. Look at that. Everything's turning. I mean, I've seen watch movements that they're just a block of rust. Look at that. Is the pawl lever still working? No, pawl lever is very dead. Okay, but that's not a big deal. Your hairspring looks okay. I don't know if this winding bridge is going to make it because you can't swap out these. That's the ball bearing thing. I'll see what can be done. I mean, it doesn't feel not smooth. Gosh darn it. Yeah, we got some water sat in here. That ratchet's roasted, I think. Well, so this is a watch that I'm going to have to use some evapo-rust on. It's sort of a starting treatment when you're dealing with rust like this, evapor-rust. It's just a... I don't even think... Oh, here's the bottle. This is not an endorsement or paid or anything. It's just what I happen to use. When you have stuff like this, it works. It's not really aggressive. It's not going to really do stuff, but if you leave it in too long, it'll remove the rust and it will also remove the plating and you'll start seeing a lot of brass. You can use it just, like everything else, you just got to check it. Got to keep checking it. See, that's not frozen. Put this here. Oh, I brought this out here for a reason. I wonder what that reason was. Oh, is it upside down? Yes, it's upside down. It's so much better. That surface corrosion and actually the alloy there of the winding weight don't look bad. Maybe this is one of these situations where it got a lot of water in it, but for a very short duration. Sorry about my hands. I guess I could try to go more like this. You guys can see more what I'm doing. Ooh, that's neat. Isn't that neat? Then I'm not going to hit the phone. Oh, I wonder if I just made a discovery. Gotta neck it down. Yeah. Those aren't, that didn't even fight me at all. And there was corrosion on the top of it. The water didn't have really time to. Well, on that one it did. Yeah. Hang on. I gotta fix my screwdriver. Okay. Finally got this one to crack free. I had to do lots of sharpening. Oops, I forgot these two. We're definitely getting, there she blows. Strictly speaking, this is not what these are for. These are hand tweezers. Come on, come on. Okay, let's see what we got. Some dirt. So we're definitely going to have pawl lever, the reduction wheel, and this retention plate. Those are definitely all bad. Those are going to have to go. Your ratchet wheel will also definitely need to go. That is some gnarly stuff. Yeah, before you start any job, you're supposed to really check your screwdriver bits. Make sure they are sharp. I'm not going to touch that yet. I'm going to run all this stuff through some hand cleaning cycles. And I mean, I could replace everything. I could replace the entire movement, and you know, any of these damaged screws, I could replace those. You know, maybe I will. It'll make it look nicer. I don't like having rusty parts in a movement. With this corrosion, I want to get right on top of this, and I'll take this apart actually outside. This is less than ideal way to do that. Let me try and get under it. Because if you can have it, if you're holding it insecurely, it can go blink and pop out. And, you know, normally that'd be like, you know, kind of inconvenient because you'd have to go and find the part. But in this case, you would, you also be flinging the balance, which is just absolutely uncool. Come on. Balance looks pretty okay, actually. Okay. I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get this, aha, got it. You see, that's why you don't go for just the straight hard pressure. You boom, 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 and you keep doing that, and you'll keep your screw and your blade edge nice. That one's really, really, really roasted. Yeah, that's garbage. That's froze up good. All right. Well, there's your dial side. Somebody was being silly. Maybe. You see the reflection on the S on the SEIKO? Bent a little bit here. Doesn't look bad. I should be able to flatten it. Yeah, look at how bright and clean your printing is. Look at the lume. God, it's perfect. It's textbook. It's really nice. Reflective surface, the nitro lacquer that's on these, apparently. Yeah, you got to be careful because when you get water in, all the text printing is on top of that nitro lacquer. What do we got a light spot here? See that? And that's right where this is. Somebody might have... That layer might be popping off. I'll check it and I'll see. Is it still there? I'm going to need to pull this logo so I can straighten it and do this repair. Wow, the dial, that's a really nice dial. I mean, there's almost basically nothing it needs. It more or less needs like a dusting. Hand metal is great. Boy, that's a nice watch. Look at that perfect Daini lume. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. Super cool. Okay, let me pull this dial in hand. Okay, so there's our dial. Yeah, look at the beauty of it. Wow, that's amazing. I'm having a hard time remembering the last time I saw a dial this nice. Dial is dated October 1967, in case you were wondering. Now, it's back to business, I think. This is ridiculous. Oh yeah, more good news. I forgot to tell you. Your stem, it came right out. Again, it's got some surface rust, but it's not serious. It doesn't look like your keyless works are jacked up. So we obviously have some dead parts, but we're not on a precipice of like destruction or anything. Let's go now. Yeah. So I'm going to disassemble the calendar side next because I want to get this thing down to right next to down to the train. And that one was easy to pull. Okay, well, that was fun. So, got that off. I didn't see any signs of water damage. We got more, something more serious in there. Boy, we're lucky that that was so short. Otherwise, it would have welded your stem into the entire assembly there. And that would have been uncool. Yeah, look at that. Pretty clean, huh? The one sort of Achilles heel with the 6200 series is the way that they have their date corrector set up. It's kind of kludgy. It's just sort of a legacy of older SEIKO thinking. It's just kind of a weird setup, and as a result, you can have issues where you have skipping and all kinds of stuff. And for the most part, if you just go through it and make sure the spring tensions are right. Beep. No, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. Yeah, anyway, make sure all these spring tensions are right. You'll find that it works. Come on, come on. Aha, I got you. Nope, wrong one. Yep, again, surface corrosion, but nothing below so far. That might be the worst of it right there. Let's see. I'm curious to see if we can actually get the movement to turn. Not run, just turn. Oh, ooh, got that one to crack. Cool. And actually a little bigger on this one. One again. Yeah, someone cranked that thing down. Darn, they don't normally have that weird big ring on it. It's one of the few funky things about these is that it doesn't have a post right here like every other minute wheel in the world. It has a little post on the bottom of this. That's because in some of the higher end models, the 624 Blanketies and the 616s, it's actually jeweled under there. And so that thing rides in a jewel. Yeah, and again, just to reiterate, I am going to use Evapo-Rust just to get this stuff going. There's still going to be some hand cleaning, some other stuff that's going to have to happen. And to anyone who's thinking about trying this at home, remember, Evapo-Rust does work, but it will also strip off plating. You don't want to leave this stuff in there. I mean, it doesn't work that quick, but don't, I mean, some guys say, oh, you know, just pop the rusted movement into the you know, the Evapo-Rust and leave it overnight. I've done that. So I got that off, and that was just so much fun. It actually, it's weird that it fought me so much. It's, again, not a lot of corrosion, but you get water wicking in here, and it can do a lot of damage. And because the clearances are so tight, sorry for that whistle, because the clearances are so tight, it can create a much stronger bond, basically. Yeah, nice tight fit. Oh, come on. Aha, I see you. And there's our cap tool. Boop, come on, in you go. Yes, in you go. Okay, so that is mostly taken apart. Well, actually, it's all taken apart on that side. Yeah, so we got some of that fun stuff. Let's see if we can get this crap off. Oh, wait, I want to pull this first and see if I can get the movement to turn at all. I bet it won't. I bet the fourth wheel's seized. Probably have to replace the fourth wheel too, if that's the case, because the water gets in there and man, it really does a number on it. Might be center wheel. I don't know. We'll see. Come on. Let me see those faces. Come on, man. Good. They're fine. They look good anyway. I mean, I don't think this was a real high hours piece. Truth be told, wow. I do think that the center wheel and the fourth wheel are glued together with corrosion, but we will find out momentarily. This screw is a little worse. Whoop, look at that, and I got it. Wow. You sure got lucky, man. You sure did. Hey, wow, that's great. Look at that. You got lucky. You got lucky. I should say not lucky. You were fortunate. Fortunate. I mean, very fortunate that your old man didn't throw this thing away. You know, when it got soaked, but you know, those old generations, they didn't want to throw anything away because, you know, you never know. You just never know. And you might need it. Okay. I'm going to have to get in under this one to get that to pop. Okay, I'm so close. It's supposed to be dinner time. I'm supposed to be up the stairs, but I am so close. This took a little bit of stuff and fun to get rid of. Look at that. It popped. The rust finally claims a real victim. It popped that bushing out of there. It's stuck to the mainspring arbor. I'm gonna have to get funky with that. Let's see what else we can get out of here. Look at that. Clean as a new penny. Isn't that nice? Wow, it's not rusted in place. I don't know, man. I'll clean it and we'll see. Wouldn't that be a triumph, huh? If I don't have to replace any wheels. Wow, that'd be amazing. Yeah, this wheel looks great. It looks awesome. Rest diddly thing. Let's get out that. Come on. There we go. You can really see just what a proto 6100 series this is. It's just like, it's just a family resemblance, at least to my eyes. You come out? Thank you. Look at that. You see, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that cool? I'll get that ring off there. I don't believe I have a jewel for that one. These though, they don't really wear the upper and lower mainspring ports because it's relatively speaking a lower power movement. It doesn't push as hard. Okay, that's definitely got some corrosion on it. That's your center wheel. I'm gonna call that bad. I mean, I'll clean it, but no, you don't want that because that's pitting right there, and those surfaces are super critical for smooth running. I'd say, all told, it could have been far, far worse. No, I think it's going to be good. Except for the center wheel, we might very well be able to save this thing. I think it's not bad at all. Okay, you'll see me back. We'll look at the plates and everything after they're out of the cleaner, and then I'm going to build it, and then we'll come back after that and do an overview and see how it went. Okay. Just like that. Well, you know it's original. I don't know if you want me to, but I do have a really fine black enamel I can sometimes use to get these bigger hits if you want me to. Or we can absolutely just leave it with the patina that it's got. It is entirely up to you, of course. How's our case look? Dirty. Some impacted stuff, but I don't see any gruck. Definitely got some water on the inside of this one. And look at the gasket. Wow. That's the seat of your pants method. That's bananas. I personally would not do this. Some people kind of like the crazing. I don't know why. If that's a Rolex thing, I mean, you're gonna get this crystal back, but we should really put a new one in here because the old one, it's not gonna really, not gonna bring you much of anything. It's just gonna, unless you really like that look. Ah, man, that came out a lot easier. I was expecting a war. Hard to believe that was an O-ring. There's a little bit of some corrosion inside there. There's a little piece right there. No, I think, as the saying goes, I think you fell on your feet. You pretty much missed every, would you come out? Pretty much, I mean, you've got some bad parts, but overall, I'd say the movement is fantastic, in fantastic condition for what it's gone through. It's gonna be a really nice case. Look at how clean those case lines are. That's a nice watch. Okay, well, that's it. Now I'm done with the case and the full disassembly. When I come back, we'll see how the movement's doing and we'll go from there. Okay, so I just thought I'd check this out. Ignore that and this. So this is the stuff that was in the Evapo Rust. And again, I'm not being compensated by them. It just happens to be the product I'm using. So I didn't touch these physically, just using chemicals. So we still got some staining in there, but not a lot. And once I cleaned this stuff off, it's some kind of water-based non-toxic something apparently, and it can be used a million times. But then the nice thing is it's pulled any corrosion at smaller places, which is nice. And again, I didn't clean anything. And you'll remember what that looked like. So that's 5 hours in Evapo Rust. I'm kind of amazed that worked so quickly and so well. This is the complete winder diddly. And it's looking a lot better. Again, I didn't take it apart. It's obviously far less rusty. I'm sure I'm still gonna have to replace everything, but man, I gotta say, I'm impressed with that Evapo Rust. I'm gonna have to wait and see cleaning how the ball bearings are on this. I don't know, like I said, we might get lucky. Appears that Evapo Rust is reacting with this stuff. No, it's just dried out. I gotta clean this stuff off. Look at that, didn't touch the paint. Made it nice and clean though. And all that stuff is gone. So when this now goes through the cleaner, it's gonna, one, you're gonna make your oil last longer because your parts are cleaner, and you're just gonna get a better overall product. This one was in there too, because these two back pins were sort of cemented in with rust. They may yet be, but it looks a hell of a lot better than that did. All of that was packed with rust. Yeah, look at that. These move now and they didn't before. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, well, you know, I bet you the case might benefit from a little bit of this stuff, huh? We got some impacted corrosion in there. Gosh, would you stop wiggling? There, are you done? You might have a wee bit of pitting there. There's sort of surface haze corrosion in there. I don't see any pitting. I'm mostly just curious to see what it does. I'm gonna leave it in for 3 hours. So the movement's doing great. This is your dial and also your SEIKO logo. See, it's right there. And you can see, I can get this done without making everybody seasick. Okay, someday. So you can see the two areas above automatic right there. These two light things, that's the top of the clear coat coming out. Air got underneath from these two locating holes for the SEIKO logo. You can see it's bent right there, but I should be able to bring it back. I should be able to correct that. But if it's still showing, I can simply replace the logo with another original one. Your dial has some interesting stuff. See the little mottling around like the markers and stuff, like kind of like this pointillism look to it. These dials do that. There's a guy named Eric Strickland, and he has one of these. It was one of the most beautiful one of these I've ever seen, and it had all these little dots, but they were like iridescent. And so as you change the dial, all these colors would flash across it. It was beautiful. So in any case, like things like this hazing and stuff like that, that's in the clear coat. It's not a danger to it or anything, but the dial is clean. So I'm gonna run some really thinned out clear binder underneath these, see if I can get it to go all the way in and basically fill these bubbles, and then that'll make this correct. And then I'm going to straighten out the SEIKO logo and put it back in. Okay, that's what I'm doing next. Okay, so here it is afterwards, and you can see that those bubbles are gone. So I was able to run in that liquid, and so that dial surface is good. I hand cleaned it. There was, again, I've hand cleaned it several times. There was a line of corrosion in this little gap through here, and I had to, despite the chemical washes I used, I had to actually go in and physically remove that with a really tiny piece of pegwood. Your logo is still a little bent. I've got to straighten it some more. It looks like the S is tilted this way. So I'll check that out, but I think the dial's good. So, like I said, I'll either fix that SEIKO logo or I'll replace it. Okay. So this is most of it. There's some of the pieces are not in here just because they're over there. But you can see all the junk. Basically, if something was, all this stuff was mostly functional, but no, probably not. But it was covered in rust. It's corrosion. It's not reliable. One thing that is super cool that I was able to do for you, because again, the entire winding bridge basically was dead, the whole thing. And the great thing about the 6200s is that if your oscillating framework with ball bearings goes bad, it doesn't doom the bridge. So there's your original 6217 bridge. I replaced this entire thing. The retention ring, the cage ball bearings, the 3 screws, everything. And you can see there's your old cage thing. There's your old retaining ring, your old pawl lever. There's your old click. There's your old ratchet wheel. That's your, oh God, that's the bridge for the winding wheel, the reduction wheel, which is actually over there. But it's running beautifully. It's running beautifully. Okay. And there she is. Okay, so I decided I did something. It's contrary to what I normally do, but I wanted to run it by you first, except I just went ahead and did it, but I can reverse it if you want. This is the original crystal. I was looking at it, and I was looking at a new crystal, and I don't know, the new crystal this sounds kind of woogie, but it just looked weird. And I looked at the original crystal, and I'm like, well, this thing's clear. I mean, it's readable. It's not opaque. And I looked at it, and I was like, well, let me try it, and I'll polish it up. I thought it was Just beautiful. I really did. I'm trying to find a good light here. I mean, it's the original crystal. It's been in this watch since new. This watch had never been serviced before that I could tell. Somebody might have been fooling in it because of the bent SEIKO logo, but I don't know. And then I just started looking at it, and look at the crazing. It's just dreamy. I've never actually really dug crazing before. This is like the first time it took this beautiful watch to sell me on it. It's not a danger to the crystal. This kind of crazing is a real big deal in the vintage Rolex market. Oh, look at your SEIKO logo. See, it's flat now. I pinned down those two bits of the dial. You can still kind of see them where it was coming up, but it's much better, and also it's safe. These are not just beautiful watches, beautiful SEIKOs. I mean, these are just such beautiful watches. They're everything. I mean, I just get, gosh darn it. Someday, people, someday, I'll get it figured out. Now let's see, that's too washed out. I prefer making these videos in the morning rather than hella late at night. I come in like this. Any case, but I thought the crystal was the right choice. But if you disagree, I can go backwards and put a new crystal in it. I was like, this thing is just so beautifully pristine. Especially, like, the thing is also the contrast of that crazing with the just perfection of the lume. It has this lovely contrast. What a beautiful, beautiful watch. It's amazing. SEIKO should have made this one forever. The case it's just, in the 60s, it stands out head and shoulders above, in my mind, pretty much any diver design of that time. Honestly, in terms of design, it blows Rolex away. And the 6200 movement, I had a 6216 apart right next to a mid-60s Rolex 1570, and the SEIKO 6200 movement was vastly better in pretty much every single way. They're only 18,000 BPH, but they have this big balance, and they swing, and they're just so steady and accurate and smooth. You know, I never liked high beat movements really that much anymore. I always think the movement's working too hard. This is like a good walk that you can keep up all day. A beautiful watch. Okay, well, you let me know about the crystal, and I'll do whatever you want. Okay, thank you.